absolutely. And I'm just so happy to have both of you guys on the show on Barbershop Talk. This is
Oh yeah.
the second episode that I'm having, and who better to have on than you two, Ernest Ruffin, Eric
No doubt.
Williams, both of you guys out of Newark, New Jersey. So we got
The
New
bricks.
Jersey draft going on over here. A little short introduction I'm gonna give you guys, and then I'll allow you to talk about yourselves. I
Facts.
got Ernest Ruffin, of course. I call him the godfather of my agent, super agent, CEO of East Coast Sports Management Group, who had clients such as Eric Williams, Kurt Thomas, myself, Tari Phillips, Delisha Milton, and Joe Smith. Currently, he is the founder and chief operator of Young Entrepreneurs Organization. And that's a 501c3 nationwide nonprofit company teaching 6th through 12th grade kids how to take
YEO.
ideas, yes, YEO, and turn them into a business plan challenge for each one of the kids, and they get prizes if I'm not mistaken. And they gain firsthand knowledge of how to build social entrepreneurship. And so, welcome to the show, Ruff. Give I know I gave them some stuff about you, but give a brief description of yourself and what you're currently doing.
Well, you hit on most of it. From the bricks, from Newark, New Jersey. Born proud, Newark, New Jersey guy. Um, yeah, so I always was involved with the youth. I've been fortunate enough to be successful in business as an employee when I worked at NCR selling computers back in the day, and that's when I first met Eric. My cousin had a team in Newark. We had a league called the Hole, and it was a tough summer league. It's a tough league. If you could play in the Hole, you could play anywhere, right? And so I was probably 27,
Facts.
28 at the time, and my cousin said, "Yo, Ruff, when you get off work, why don't you come down the Hole and coach us?" So I'm saying, "Coach you? You don't want me to play? Because I'm a baller, And they know, you don't want me to." He's like,
You balling.
"Nah." He said, "Nah, I got my guys. We all
We good.
17 and 18." He said, "We 17 and 18. I just need you to come down and coach us." So I said, "All right." And so I came down and I would coach them, right? And this was my give back, right, to the community. I come down right from work in a suit, and I saw Eric, and I was looking at him play, and I was like, "Man, who is this dude?" And he said, because I didn't know him. He said, "You don't know E Dub?" I said, "No, I don't know him." E Rock, they called him E Rock. "You don't know E Rock?" I said, "No." Where you go? He said he went to Shabbat. I said, "I read about him." I said, "Oh, okay, okay." And this kid, he spin the wrong way, but nobody could stop him. When I say he spin the wrong way, AJ, when you got the ball in your right hand, you're supposed to spin to the left and do,
Exactly.
do so. Eric spin the same way.
Wow.
He spin this way, like what the fuck? But nobody could, and he'll finish it on you too. Spinning, boom! I said, "Who is this nigga?"
Boom.
Oh, can I say that on the
Boom.
show? So, okay, so,
Hey, we amongst each other, baby.
so I was like, "Yo," I'm like, "Damn, he like that?" Is it? So then, as I kept watching him play, I said, "This cat is a pro, man. He got it." You know what I mean? Like, when I've been around the game long enough, I know when the kid got it. You know what I'm saying? And so,
Absolutely.
I said, "Yo, man, what's up? What are you doing?" He said, "I'm good. Where you going to school?" He was in, he was with the boys. There's all hood down there. You know, it's all hood. He was doing his hood thing. I said, "What's up, man? You going to?" So I'm going to King College. I said, "King, man, come on, man." Yeah, I went to Bloomfield 10 years ago. That's high school ball. you know, you you, you got to get out of there. So
That's facts.
long and short of the story is, I called my college coach and said, "Coach, I got a kid that can really play." He did a background check on Eric. When I say a background check, he called Sandy and a couple other cats, and they said, "No, he the real deal." Eric was first team all state in high school, so he,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
he,
Sandy from the Road Runners.
yeah,
Right.
Sandy from the
From the
Road
Road
Runners,
Runners.
and
Right.
so they did some checks and they knew he could play. So coach, gave him a shot. I got him in JUCO, and so that was the beginning of me and his relationship 30 years ago, maybe now. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So realistically speaking, Eric is the reason you and I met, Adrian, because once he got to school and he got to Vincennes, he started doing this thing. Then he got to Providence and he was doing this thing, and he recognized he was going to get drafted. He said, "Ruff, why don't you help me with this, right?" And so I'm like, "Yo, dude, I mean, I can help you, I can talk to you, but I'm a fucking computer salesman. Like, we got to talk to some people who know how to do this. You know what I mean? Like, I'll learn in it,
Right.
and so he the reason why I got into it because he asked me to help him, right? And then I learned the business, thus, started working with him, and then Kurt, and then you, and then all the other people. You know what I mean? It was him, and paying it full circle. I reached out and tried to help him because I saw he was talented, and wanted to get him a shot. And then he came back and said like, "Yo, help me," and then now we know you. See how it worked?
Yeah, absolutely. A basketball is a
Facts.
small, it's a small world, and especially in New Jersey. I mean, all of us play ball, so at some point in time, you're
Facts.
going to encounter somebody, and somebody's going to follow in somebody's footsteps. And I know Eric, from the bricks as well, but Eric's got a nice story too. Former NBA player who was drafted out of, it was Providence College in Rhode Island.
Mm-hmm.
The 14th pick by the Boston Celtics in '85, and you also played for a
Right.
couple other teams. You were doing your thing. Denver, Cleveland, New Jersey, San Antonio, Charlotte. And then after you got
Stayed in it.
finished playing, exactly. You had longevity, which is a great thing. And then after that, I mean, while you were in that, you launched your own your clothing line to honoring the fictional Negro basketball league, and then you also appeared in Basketball Wives. That's where people a lot of times say, "Oh, Eric is in Basketball Wives," and then
Yeah,
Caribbean
But
man.
Heights.
Adrian, he brought me to
We got
Basketball Wives
Caribbean,
too.
Caribbean Heights. You know,
He brought me to
Ernest
Basketball
Ruffin.
Wives, Adrian.
Oh, exactly. So you got your little piece. So Eric, also welcome to the show.
I
Give
appreciate
us a brief
it, A.
walk. About yourself. Description. I know you're from Newark. It's tough. Talk to the kids out there
Right.
right now. People that are viewing right now. Talk about how like you to get out of a place like that.
Mm. Yeah, you know what? You're absolutely right, Adrian. I mean, and just a couple of what Ruff was saying. I mean, I can remember when I was about like 4 or 5 years old, and in the projects, 12 stories, it's a known fact that the floors between the fifth floor to the seventh floor, those floors was dark. No one lived in those floors. You know what I mean? So
Uh-huh.
every morning I lived on the 10th floor. So I used to have to walk down those 3 flights of stairs. And I'm telling you, every day I used to just be like, let me just make it to see the light, just to get downstairs, just to play. So, I
Exactly.
mean, it was that type of atmosphere all the time. And just to sum it up in the package, the reason why the fourth and the seventh floors was empty because it was easy for the guys to shoot back up in the projects because it was one way in, one way out. Police wasn't coming up in the projects, so it was easy to. That was like a mechanism that they used to use to get away from the projects and get away from the police. So those floors was always dark all the way up until it was time for us to move out. My mom was able to move out, so I'm not even talking about actually getting outside to be able to deal with all the other ruckus. Just to get outside because the elevators was
See that?
messed up. Just to get outside, you had to go through that stress, feeling that anxiety in your stomach. So I always had that from a kid. So as I got older, started doing things that I wasn't supposed to do, it wasn't hard for me to make the transition to do something bad that I thought I was doing good because doing bad in the hood is doing good. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker used to come
Absolutely.
home from come from jail. He got celebrated, got a party, everything. You know what I'm saying? Dude came home from
Exactly.
college, got none of that. So, all the thinking was reversed. So to be able to see an image like Ruff, it was just the image. You know what I mean? Ruff would come around the corner, briefcase, probably a long day at work, so he'd have the suit jacket in his arm, like wrapped in his arm, and he coming in the hood, you know what I mean? And everybody knew
Absolutely.
who he was, so he was like, "Yo, that's Ruff right there, baby. That's CEO right there, CEO Ruff." And he was always that presence for us. So in the back of my mind, I always like, I look around, I was like, yeah, I'm more like who he is, you know what I'm saying? In mind, I always knew that. I just ain't know how to go about doing it. And me and his cousin was best friends And he had got murdered in the struggle, and that's kind of like what brought me closer to Ruff because I was at a crossroad at one time. You know what I mean? And I didn't know
Absolutely.
exactly what I wanted to do. And he gave me some wisdom. You know what I mean? And it was like something that I needed at that time because I was just about to be a senior in college, and my best friend just got murdered, and I was. I lived not a double life, but at the same time, my boys was my boys. You know what I'm saying? And that was
Absolutely.
his cousin. He gave me some wisdom, like he said some real stuff. You don't think I want to rip this dude head off? I'm just gonna keep it 100. You don't think I want to get at this guy? He's like, that's my cousin. You don't think it? But I got to think. And he was like, family, my mother's kids, what I'm doing. And that helped me be like, school, I got an opportunity and not to get caught up with a lot of my other friends did in Newark. You know what I'm saying? I was like one of the ones that finally
Exactly.
like kind of like, you know what I'm saying? So definitely that was who I was up. And with that upbringing, when I got to the light, like, college, stuff like that, the NBA, that stuff was easy for me. That's why I probably smiled a lot when I played because just like a lot of other guys. But I can really actually say I actually really, really, really lived it. You know what I mean? Not to say there was something different than somebody else did, but I got enough individuals that's on my team to know that I really, really, really lived it. And to be able to change and switch it up the way I was able to do it, I needed help. And Ruff was one of those guys who was there from day one. And every time I needed to make a bigger decision, I always came to him, even today. So that was who I
Yeah.
was. Got a chance to get to the NBA, and it was a funny story too because the couple with Ruff was saying Glenn Robinson, me and him is tied. People don't know that he wasn't eligible to play for Purdue his first year. He was ineligible. He was going to take a scholarship for Vincennes University, which is a 2-year school junior college, and sit out. But at the last hour, he went to Purdue and sat out 1 year instead of going to JUCO to set out 2. They had
Okay.
an extra scholarship, and when he turned it down, I took the scholarship, and I was gone. You know what I'm saying? So scholarship, I might have not been in this position that I was in. As Ruff was telling you, everybody was trying to make calls for me to get me out of it. You know what I'm saying? But that was the final draw. And then soon he let the scholarship go and did the 1 year in Purdue and went to the NBA. I was able to get that scholarship, and the rest was history.
Yeah.
Yeah, bad.
Absolutely. I mean, we all. I mean, that testimony is fantastic. Ruff has been a ram in the bush for a lot of people, and that's why I always appreciate him and always have, kept him in my life because he's definitely a day one. He's helped me in a lot of different phases of my life as well, and a lot of times when I do have things that I want to do, I run it across him first. Trust is um, going on to the next subject. What do you guys? I mean, we just had the virtual draft in the WNBA, which was rather successful. I was surprised. I didn't know how it was going to turn out, but it turned out to be well. It turned out to be good. The best thing about that was the fact that people got the opportunity to do, have the draft and all of your family members could be there because usually you only get a few people. With that being said,
Right.
that we have our COVID situation going on right now, and there's definitely a possibility that the NBA is going to have to follow in those same footsteps. What do you guys think about that? And how do you? I know that if anybody could pull it off, the NBA will be able to do that. What do you think, Ruff?
Uh, well, the virtual, you know, the technology is there for us to do everything virtually, right? We just wasn't accustomed to it. So the switch, because we had to, was great. I think the draft went extremely well. WNBA, NFL draft was highly rated. There's no sports on TV right now, so people tuned in. So it works. Um, what I think now about the pandemic, I think once they get this thing handled, which it sounds like they're trying to get a handle on it, I think the NBA will start back soon here, playing in one location, no fans. Um, they're talking about a play-in, so I guess those teams that were on the bubble will get a chance to play in to the playoff tournament because they want Zion in there bad, right? And his team is on the bubble. So
Absolutely.
they're going to have a little play in, a mini camp play in, and then playoffs. And I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be fine. I'll let Eric talk about what he's doing today from a business standpoint to help
Absolutely.
people with the pandemic, um, because they're gonna have to take temperature checks every day, and some of the business things he's doing has solutions for that right now. So yeah, I think it'll be fine. I just like the way we adjusted. I think the country's addressed it real well.
Yeah, we definitely have done that. And I just shot you that information about Mark Cuban. Of course, he always has some type of proposed plan, and he proposed to restart the NBA season, what you just touched upon. And, his idea is for all 30 teams to play 5 to 7 regular season games, like you were talking about with the play-in tournament. And then the top 10 teams in each conference would qualify for the postseason and be reseeded based on the record. And then just to make a long story short, the only Minnesota Timberwolves and the Golden State Warriors would be mathematically eliminated upon resumption of the season because it was so bad. So they'll
Too
have
far behind,
play
yeah.
yeah, they'll have play-in matches that could be single game or best of three series. So they're actually trying to come up with some type of way to make it happen. If anybody can make it happen, I mean, they definitely can. And I know that Eric can elaborate on this more because you played in the league and you know how they operate. I think the site is down in Orlando, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
it's what we.
that's what they came
Okay.
up with. No, good. No, that's
So
what they came out with.
elaborate on that a little bit, Eric, and how, just to give people
Well,
an idea how that could even work.
well, put it like this: Orlando, of course, Disney, they own ESPN, right? So they covers the games. So okay, so it's an extra interest for them to be able to host the site, and it's more of what we will call, a situation where it's already underneath their umbrella, so they don't have to worry about any other outside because all the assurance is ran through the TV contracts and things of that nature. So if you understand it from that point of view, then that will be the ideal site. Not to mention all the entertainment that comes along with Disney World and the players' families and all that isolated environment. If they can sterilize an isolated environment like that, then you can get all the teams in there because it can hold everybody all in one
Yes.
spot without everybody having to go outside or anywhere or interface with anybody. The family can be fans and family at the same time watching the games. So visually, it'll still look like a sort of way. You know how like back in the day when the Knicks, well, even today, the Knicks crowd used to be even worse in the 80s. They had to dim the lights,
Yeah.
right? So you can't even see the crowd after about like 10 rows.
Exactly.
So they can
Exactly.
also use that type of technology of illusion. And they also, if they want to buffer the same game sounds, that's where the producers come in at, like how they do back in the day shows when they have the crowd clapping all by itself. They can easily kind of like induct something like that for visually impaired and for the visual people can get that same caption because that's what it's all about. It's the experience. And definitely the NBA gives the onus to the players, and that's what's key. When the players got to say, then that's when something can always happen, and that's what we have in our league than all other leagues. They don't really have that type of voice. So, the guys, they come together as we know it, along with the team officials and league officials and things of that nature, they can get something going and get something at Zach as soon as we possibly can, hopefully, by the end of July, like they said.
That's awesome. And that's right about the time where the summer league will be ending anyway. And I thought about that a lot, Eric. I was like, okay, how many different venues could actually make this happen and give it that Vegas feel where, all of the teams are in one area and, definitely can do it in Orlando because you have Disney, so you got the community built within. So now nobody has to go anywhere, and if they're going to do daily testing and stuff like that, they can definitely pull it off. Kudos to them, and that gives a great insight, and allows people to know how that would look and how they could actually pull that off. And so the only other place that I thought about, the only other venue I was talking about with my ladies over on Sunday brunch, is that the only other place that could probably pull it off would be Colorado Springs, where we do USA basketball. So those were the two places that I thought about, Disney and Colorado. So I'm glad that they're going to do that and they're venturing into that, which leads me right into elaborating on Ruff's specialty, because Ruff, your specialty is definitely marketing and branding. And another concern for investors would be about how do these sponsors make their money? I know you're very well versed in streaming. How do the sponsors get their take if they buy into this?
Well, in this case, Adrian, I'll be honest with you, the sponsors are going to make double the money they would make regularly because we got no sports. So this gives everybody an opportunity. Those people who didn't watch NBA basketball for whatever reason before, ain't nothing else on except that's going to be on. We lost Eric? Nothing?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, he'll
He'll
come
come
back.
back in. Yeah. Nothing else is going to be on except the NBA, right? So everybody, more eyeballs will be tuned in to the games to watch because they got nothing else. So it's going to be a great opportunity for sponsors because you have a situation where all eyes will be on the NBA. Plus, everybody wants to see how this is going to work post pandemic or current pandemic while the pandemic is going on, right? How is this going to play out? Are players going to get sick, right? So they're going to have a chance to
Absolutely.
really have a windfall of money. They're going to have a big
Yes.
chance here to make money because, all eyes are going to be on them, right? Uh, Let's see if the players
Absolutely.
get sick. If a player gets sick, how do they handle that? Do they go in quarantine 15 days? How sick is the player? And every other major sport will be able to use this as a white paper
Hmm.
going forward, and marketers and sponsors are going to make a killing.
Absolutely.
That's facts. That's facts.
Absolutely, especially with the streaming, and then when you have those pockets, where you have to fill because of intermission, because of a timeout, those are going to be those places where the sponsors will definitely be able to benefit and fill in those spaces. I remember watching the G League on Facebook, and whenever they had the timeouts or they had that blackout space, they would just go to music and they would freeze the camera.
Right.
How beneficial would this be, Eric, for those sponsors to come in?
I mean, you got people stationary now. They in the house. They can't go out. And like Ruff said, I mean, you don't have any sports, right? So now you have everyone that's in the house, everyone who has a laptop, who has a TV at your disposal. And now, if they don't want, people tired of Netflix. I know they are. They tired of Netflix and all Hulu. They tired of it. You know what I mean? You got motherfuckers on all types of platforms, now it gets to be redundant. So they want live action now, right? And that was the one thing our game and all the sports gave. That was real drama. It wasn't something script. It wasn't something that you can, pause it, put another writing in there, change the ending. You knew exactly what was happening, and it was live. And that's what was the best thing about sports. It's unscripted drama, and people love that. And even if these guys was playing street basketball on the street, and you put that on TV or any network right now, people was going to watch it. And I mean, look, all over the world are going to watch it. So the sponsorship now, as far as viewers, like we were just saying about the virtual WNBA draft, I mean, it was up. because everybody was involved, everybody was watching it. It was live. It wasn't something that wasn't. It was live and new. So, I mean, I think the advertisers are gonna go off the roof because the only thing they want is you to see their name or see their logo. That's all they really want.
Eyeballs.
That's it. That's all. That's throwaway money for them. The marketing dollars, they throw it away every year. It's like they got a budget. That's the throwaway money. So it's gonna be even more assertive for them to do it now and get out there. And it's probably not gonna be more expensive, especially now that everyone is online and not on live TV, and even live TV is online. So everything is at our disposal right here in front of us. So it's going to do even more. It's all about impressions anyway. So the more impressions you can give off of your brand, logo, or commercial, then it's going to leave an impression on whoever's seeing it, and mostly everybody going to be viewing it.
And if I can add to that, it's going to give them a chance to, you know, add more innovation and creativity to the game, like you see, right? They're going to. It seems like the NBA. What's going to happen with the NBA? Adrian, I don't think they're going to be a summer league this year. I think it'll be postponed because the next season is going to be postponed, going to be pushed back, pushed out.
Right.
They may
Yes.
shorten the league to 60 games,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
They may, which is what the players want anyway, right? So they may shorten it to 60 games, which makes the regular season that much more important, which means
Facts.
your games are going to be your players going to go that much more. You know, not that they don't go hard, but they got to go hard
It's going to be better
because
quality of play. It's going to
you
be better
blow
players
two
out there.
games, you out of the postseason. 2 games against the Minnesota Timberwolves that you should have won, but you took off that night. You know what I mean? Like, so you should have less resting, whatever they call that. What do they call that now? When
Load
they rest them,
management.
load management.
Yeah.
So that should take care of your load management, which means
Right.
stars should be playing if they're not hurt every game. You get a chance to add more streaming, more technology to the game, right?
Right. Right.
It
Facts.
you know,
You make local games
sponsor.
available for everybody. You make the local games, normally local for local station down there, all the games available for everybody. It'd be perfect. No, go ahead, bro.
No, that's a very good point. So you get a chance to innovate and reinvent your game. And basketball is doing well. And what Eric was saying earlier is real. Sports, the number one reality TV show on television is football. You
Facts.
know that? That's the number one reality TV show, football. Football is ridiculous in this country, right?
Right.
But how many football shows do they have? It's 1,000 of them, man.
Yeah.
So this football. They got
Movies
their own state. It's
and everything.
crazy. So sports is really reality TV, and baseball needs a big reinnovation. There needs to be change, and this is going to give them a chance to do that if they follow suit. Get the old dudes out the way.
Facts.
Like the old dudes gotta go and ladies gotta go. I don't want to sound like I'm an ageism type person.
No,
You
but
know,
it's facts.
I'm an elderly person these days myself,
Right.
but I was good with the fax machine. You know what I'm saying? Which means that like this is the fax machine now. You know what I mean?
Right.
So since
Absolutely.
I was good with the fax machine, I would have let all this go. I was good, and that's just age. So they got to get the old people out of the way, let these new young people innovate and change these games and make them more exciting. I think that's what you're gonna have happen here.
Yeah, absolutely. And kudos to the people that are technically inclined. Those are going to be the people that are going to survive because right now everything is virtual. So you have to know what it is to do, what you're doing. Everything is based on social network, and that leads me right to the next thing that I wanted to talk about. Um, it's all great that the NBA is coming back up. There's not going to be the whole lot of people other than them that are. I'm looking at these kids that are out there. I'm looking at these colleges that are out there right now, and they're wondering how their season is going to go, how it's going to play out. If they're going to have one, definitely is going to be postponed. Um, with that being said, we have a whole market of people out there that are not going to be working out, are going to be looking for viable ways to get workouts in. With that being said, I was reading an article about a company right now that the Players Association is starting to blow up, and I had mentioned it before they were blowing them up in our show on Sunday Brunch. And they have the players and their trainers are actually uploading videos for people to do virtual workouts. This is going to be an explosion, you guys. Um, and it's something that needs to actually happen because you're gonna have a whole crew, a slew of players from the WNBA to the NBA who are going to be looking for employment because they're not going to have anything to do for a period of time. All of those kids that got drafted, you got the WNBA players, the ones that got drafted from 1, 2, 3. Some of them didn't even make it because the WNBA had to let them go because the season is not going to be over. I mean, because the season is going to be over, and your rosters have to be in by May 26th, and you only get to keep 12 players. So they didn't even keep those players that they did. Well, a lot of those players that were in the virtual draft are now unemployed. So how do we employ?
Is there going to be a WNBA season?
As of right now, there's no talks of anything. So, if you're not saying anything, then, how do they have a season when the NBA season is postponed, has been postponed and is going to be delayed? Okay. Do they wait until after everything is over with them and then the women follow suit and go to, down to Disney? I mean, that may be a great idea, but until that happens, there are quite a few players that are unemployed right now. You can't just drop them off at the doorstep. It's not their fault.
And you can't go overseas.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can't
But
do anything right now.
I was reading that overseas is in Spain is going to be opening up on July 1st with no quarantines. So there's going to be some things that are going to be happening. But how important is it for us to have player programs at this moment right now?
Huh. It's very, it's very.
Talk about that. Elaborate on that, Eric.
That's a great question. And like I said, NBA has NBA Cares. They have a whole bunch of programs now that they can really, really do something to really show that they care. You know, insurance it rules all business anyway, and everything is backed by insurance. So I want to see why it's a sticky situation when you're dealing with the times when no one wasn't prepared for this.
Absolutely.
So it's
Absolutely.
like the answer is the old model of business is unfortunately has to change, right? It has the seasonal games has to be not okay, fall, football, basketball, you know how it used to be, and baseball, all that stuff. And we saying pushback can happen. I figure once things get back going again, it shouldn't matter what season it is. Let's finish out where we left off at. So, and eventually everything can get pushed back in the right way, in the right, a stationary pattern like it used to be, so that those same, first year rookies right now who just got drafted can be able to look forward to something. I think the NBA, which took over the WNBA, and have all this insurance, should be able to tap into that insurance, right, to be able to help these younger, our younger players who just got drafted and things of that nature in the NBA draft that's about to come up, to guide them, like to bridge the gap for them, to get them some funds and get this so they don't have to be out here just, wondering whether we're going to have a league or not or play or not.
And to
Good, Rob.
piggyback off that, the government, I'm sure that all the leagues have filed for COVID relief funds from the government,
Right.
right? Because it shut them down. It cost them money, and
Right.
they should be able to, give those young ladies in the WNBA something, because they're going to get some money from the government
Right.
to, some relief funds from the government. They have to, because this came out of nowhere. It's a pandemic, so
I'm sorry.
they gotta support, they gotta support business, individuals, everybody. And so I think that will happen. I think, like Eric said, the insurance plus the government, They should be able to kick the ladies something so that they can, get through. And I think the WNBA may be shut down this year because if the NBA gonna start in July, let's say, and by the time they're done, you looking at August, September. Now you starting to compete with football. And I just told you the number one reality TV show on TV is football.
I hear what you're saying, bro. But I'm saying like, hey, listen, maybe we gotta bend it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand, like the women's game should still be able to continue. And I know they're competing with football and all that stuff, but those checks still they're getting paid. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. I'm like,
I think they're gonna shut them down and pay them.
oh, good.
You know what I'm saying? Like what I'm saying is the money they get from the government and the money that they get from insurance, right?
Right.
They should be able to give them something.
Right.
If you make $100K, they should be able to give them $75K, so they can hold out. You know what I mean? They could do their thing, live, pay their bills, do what they do.
Right.
I'm not sure if they're gonna want to go up against a delayed NBA. The NFL gonna be fresh. The only thing in the NFL gonna be different is you ain't gonna have as many fans initially until they figure out how to test everybody and make everybody safe. But the NFL gonna start on time. It's gonna be just like nothing happened except no fans, right? And then baseball is gonna get crushed momentarily because they competing against the NBA and the NFL. That's a problem.
Right.
The baseball got to let the players juice. Why do I say that, Adrian? They act like if I take juice, I can step in and hit a curveball.
Right.
Ain't gonna happen.
Right. The juice don't make your eye-hand coordination better.
The juice don't do nothing for you unless you can hit a curveball already. So
Like
if you
Barry
let
Bonds
everybody
can.
have the option to juice, let them juice. Baseball was at its height when Sammy Sosa and what's his name?
McGregor, was it?
The
Oh,
big
yeah,
white cat,
Mark McGuire.
Mark
Yeah,
McGuire,
McGuire. Yeah, that was
and they had a third cat. They
Mark
was hitting
McGuire
60 and
lying.
70 home
He's
runs,
lying on it.
right? And
Yeah.
then Roger Clemens was on the juice, and he was throwing that heat.
Facts.
Baseball was at its height. So you ain't got no competitive advantage. I mean, the only thing is, you still got to be able to hit these people. And
That's
so
right.
they need to let that kind of stuff into baseball, or it'll be in trouble. Like
I know what you
UFC
mean.
or somebody will take it over.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's
You
facts.
so
And sponsorships. I think the sponsors who all over the years benefited from marketing with the NBA, all those sponsorships that the NBA have too, they need to be able to kick back and support the players at this time. It's about them now being able to show all the things that the exposure that the players have given they companies and things of that nature. Maybe let's put the onus back on them too, because they the ones that get in the stimulus package first. The bigger of
the
all the
big
stimulus
companies.
package. Yeah, the big companies. So maybe we get back at them too through the NBA and all they associated sponsors, right? That's what it is. It's associated sponsors of the National Basketball Association. So, if we
It,
kick back to them and if they go within their own associated sponsors, then it should be a budget especially for the WNBA players.
that's what I'm saying.
You
There
know what I
should
mean?
be no reason why WNBA
Listen,
players don't get a
especially for
check.
especially for the WNBA players, especially for them.
Absolutely,
Yeah. And
absolutely.
hopefully, they'll come to the table sometime next week and figure out what it is that they're going to do with those kids that who didn't even make it onto the roster because of COVID and didn't get the opportunity
Yeah,
to prove who they are,
right,
because most of the teams are going to go with what they know. And so they're
right.
just going to stick with their vets and they're going to ride it out. So that's what I've seen happen
That's a good point.
across the globe,
Good point.
all week.
Now
that is
this new commissioner for the WNBA, she's a Wall Street lady, right?
if I'm not mistaken, yes. And so
Okay.
she's got some great ideas. It's just a matter of putting those great ideas into effect, and hopefully she'll sit down eventually with some of
Well,
us
I'm gonna
former
give her
players.
$1 million one right now. You ready?
Go ahead.
You see the kind of shirt you got on right there, Adrian?
Exactly.
They need to play in those.
There you
o-
go.
Okay. And then they need to have the shorts, and fitting,
Hmm.
They do it
right?
already. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to sound sexist, but
You do.
Bob, that's okay. I can sound sexist, but this is if you want to put butts in the seats. I'm just telling you how.
Both
They need to
butts.
they need to have shirts like you got on right now. That's what they need to play in. I don't need to see your chest cleavage, but I need to see that V, right? I just need to imagine what you look like, okay? Like let me imagine, all right? And I need the shorts
The
to be
male
tight.
perspective, I
No,
can't.
you want to win? I'm telling you how to do this thing. Because
I think that's both
let's take beach
perspectives. Hey,
volleyball.
word up. I think that's
Let's
both
take beach
perspectives.
Yeah,
volleyball.
beach volleyball.
Is
You know,
beach
you get to
volleyball any better than inside volleyball? No.
Facts.
But what's
but
the attraction?
you get to see more body.
You
You
That's
get to
all
see
I'm
basically
more
trying
what
to
about it.
say,
what
Adrian.
Ernest
That's
Ruffin
all
is
I'm
saying.
saying. That's all
Okay,
I'm
Hey,
saying.
and
you
he has
guys
Eric
athletes.
Williams backing him up because you're
You
both like,
Uh,
athletes, baby.
it
You
is what it is. It
athletes.
is what it is.
I'm just
Okay,
trying to
I
tell
want to
you.
say that I
We
put
Let,
that on the table.
athletes. You
let me
feel me?
tell you why, Adrian.
Look, Sports
Because
Illustrated got the naked
Cleavage
issue.
and
No
more
problem with
booty.
there,
This
that.
is the male take. This is what I got to
yeah,
deal
Sports
with today.
Illustrated. Naked
how
issue.
is
No
Sports
problems with that.
Illustrated model issue sell more than any sports related? I
Boom.
You're
mean,
absolutely right. You're
so,
Use
absolutely
because
your
little
use
girls,
your
Adrian,
use your
little
power
girls want to wear those two-piece bikinis too, right?
all the time.
So, that's what they got to do with the
I can't
WNBA.
with
I'm
you guys.
sorry.
Now
So,
everybody sees what I deal with you guys. I
I mean,
can't
I
with
mean
you. But it's
that'll put butts in the seats.
listen. I am not mad at you. I'm not mad at you. I understand this is what this is what male America wants, and what male America
Female
wants.
America too, though. This is what
Female
I'm trying to
America
tell you.
wanted to.
Female
Female
America too.
America wanted
Don't
to. They
don't
go to
just
the
say
Look,
male
sports
I don't
bus.
know how
America.
They do it.
comfortable. I don't know how comfortable I would have felt. But then again, that's not true because I played in Brazil. So our uniforms were like this, like tight
That's what I'm
fit.
talking about.
Like
Facts.
it was the
Facts.
volleyball fit. But
Facts.
okay, so what do you say to a female who doesn't have that perfect body, and you're asking her to jam everything into that? So what
What do we
happens
say
to
to the
those chicks?
who's
What do you
who's?
say to those chicks?
I
Jam
say
your body in it anyway?
I
Love your
say look
body.
at Serena Williams.
Facts.
I
Facts.
say look at Serena Williams. She
She
changed
ain't
female
care.
tennis. She
She ain't care.
made female tennis stuff fashionable. She jammed all that body into what you talking about and kicked
Facts.
everybody's ass.
U.S. Open.
And this show will probably have the highest ratings
U.S.
because you
Open.
guys are telling me that we need to redefine the uniform. And maybe that's something that we really need to
Under,
take a look
under,
at. Because this
Understood.
new athlete, the new female athlete, definitely likes to show more of her body. And so maybe that
Facts.
will be something that could be addressed, what I'm saying? And whatever it takes at times to raise the level of consciousness and awareness, and just bring love to the females game. I'm all for coming to the table with the players association, and sitting down at the table and having former players, current players, and the league really sit down and come up with a marketing plan and ways that we can
Word.
get this off of the
I'm
ground, because
I'm telling you, it'll be a hit because
sponsorships
they
are
can
definitely
play.
the roof.
They ain't about them hooping. They can hoop.
Absolutely. We don't have to prove, and we don't have to make any more commercials that we know how to play and that we know how to ball. I was I was I
Right.
was I was practicing in Chicago with the Bulls. You remember that? So
No, we know,
so
we know,
No.
so it's all good.
we
So
already know.
it's not about the
No,
talent, you know.
no, hey, you can hold your own with anybody. You got get. I tell people. They say, "What kind of game Adrian Goodson have?" I said, "Adrian is like a female Mike." They said, "What?" I said, first of all, her mid-range pull-up was crazy. She was athletic as hell. She quick. She's
Yes,
relentless. She can rebound. She was she was kind of unguardable. Mama said, for real, Ruff? Yes.
yeah,
So
hell
we
yeah.
ain't even talk about can you play. You know.
Yeah. It's about am I marketable, and that's what it's all
There you
about.
go.
That's what it's all about, and we always have these
Right?
conversations, you know.
Unfortunately,
And eventually, you know, I definitely have you guys back, and we can actually sit down and maybe talk about some, you know, plan of actions, you know, that the league can possibly come up with, and you know, some
And,
things that they can viably do to, you
and
know,
I'm
to
gonna
get
throw you one
up.
more gem before we leave out of here. Here's another gem. You ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Y'all don't have enough controversy. So, like, is Eric Williams cheating on Jennifer?
You
Right?
know you're stupid. I can't with you. I
No, no,
can't.
no. So think
You know
about it.
you're about to get
Jen,
dirty with it.
is Dennis Rodman sleeping with Carmen Electra and Madonna?
Facts,
Right?
facts.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Let's not forget, people. This is pro entertainment,
Facts.
and what we like as regular fans, we nosy. We want
We
to
want the
know this.
insight.
That's what we want, or at least we think we got the insight. It's all tabloid, whatever, whatever,
So that's what
right?
it is. We got to do. We got to come up with the reality TV show for the
Yeah,
WNBA.
but
We have
y'all
to
ain't
talk about.
sexy enough with it. We don't know who is Candace Parker sleeping with. Is she sleeping with this one or that? We need that. All of that's entertainment. I know everybody want to be private, but you know what I mean?
We need to
The
know,
rumor
baby.
was
We
Michael
need to
Jordan
know.
was cheating on his wife. Was he? We don't know. Do we know?
And
Inquiring minds want to know.
you can create that buzz for it too. I mean, and it's the former NBA WNBA players who's supposed to be taking on those roles, maybe. You know what I'm saying, and really pushing that envelope, man, and taking it upon ourselves now. It's like you guys what y'all doing now, but really pushing the issue like Ruff saying, and creating that for the brand, and maybe pushing that back to the WNBA as an extended, not just what's that? What's the name of the tabloids everybody always talking about? Everybody is
Inquire,
on this. Yeah, exactly.
Inquire.
All that,
inquiring minds want to know.
right? Yeah, you
No,
know what I'm saying? All that.
absolutely.
So
Nobody said it better than them.
And
Inquiring
that's what
minds.
your game is missing, AG. And so even if it's not true, we don't give, most of it ain't true anyway. I'm just saying that brings butts to the team, to the seats.
that's
People want to
eyeballs.
know. You see what I'm saying? That's what you got to
What
do,
they
y'all.
do, where they go, you
Where
know,
they do,
what they
where they
eat, where
go,
they
who they
where they
do.
shop, everything. You know,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's
You
so
know,
I know y'all
it's
want to be purists. Y'all game is great.
Inside beefs, team beefs,
All of that.
team
Yeah,
beefs, inside beefs. Let's keep it basketball too, all day.
yeah. So that's what your game is missing. And then that if you put that in there, y'all got a hit record.
wow. Michael
Y'all doing
Jackson.
everything else. Y'all dunking. Y'all doing everything now. The only thing y'all not doing is getting that extra side. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
absolutely. You know, we need the secret sauce. Something, you know, according to
that
Ernest
secret
Ruffin,
sauce.
Eric Williams.
I,
But
listen, listen. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you how to get this. How the WNBA can get this seats filled up and get this bread and stop playing.
All right, hey, Rob, maybe we need to start it, baby. It's okay.
That's what we need to do.
We'll do
Let us.
it.
We'll
But we
take
need
it
to
no,
over.
own it. Maybe we need to do
no.
it. See what I'm
we'll,
saying?
Save the world. Save
we'll
the
take it
world.
over.
Maybe we'll
Listen,
do it.
I want to give you guys both the opportunity, give you the platform to, you know, to talk about, you know, anything you want the viewers to know, you know, how to contact you on social media, where you are on Twitter, how to get at you on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you may dwell, Twitch.
Well, Twitter, they banned me, so I, you know what I
They
mean?
banned you?
They censored
Eric,
me, man. They censored me December like 18th. You know, I said some controversial stuff to Huffington Post and a whole bunch of other, news outlet, but it was all facts. That was backed up by facts. I'm not gonna go into it. That was backed up by facts, and then they hit me with suspicious activity, and
Oh wow.
and it's funny because that's what Trump kind of like did the executive order the other day about Twitter. They were censoring people, and I was one of them. I mean, I'm a verified account. I had an account, but they always will censor me when I talk about certain issues. You know what I mean? And that's what they did. So I got off that. I got off Twitter. I do have a business account for IG, which is Fiat Capital LLC. And I mean, outside of that, we started our own manufacturing company down in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I mean, we manufacture all things electronics. Our company is pretty much like the number 4 design team in all the like cellular, cell phone, electronics design. And we just opened up our company from Shenzhen, China. Now we open up our manufacturing company here. So we will be pretty much manufacturing all things electronics from electric motorcycles to drones to 3D printing machines to handheld device air sanitizers to handheld device air sterilizers to pretty much a lot of things that you guys will be hearing about us. Our company
Temperature
name is
checks.
notabani.com. If you go to notabani.com, that's NOITABONNE.com. You'll see everything that we're doing. All minority owned. What I'm saying? Nothing but brothers is in here. Family owned business for like 10 to 12 years. So that's what we bring into the new world of business.
wow, that's awesome. We're gonna have to definitely talk off the cuff about that.
Well,
Definitely.
yeah, and he forgot a couple key components to what he's doing. It's kind of awesome. He's doing the temperature check guns, right? So the guns that can check your temperature. They make those. They make KN95 masks and the 4-ply masks. So he's already supplied Newark schools with some masks. He's looking at doing some stuff, more stuff in the city of Newark. We are in talks now with supplying the Virgin Islands with masks and temperature checks and air purifiers. So they're doing some phenomenal stuff down there. So it's really good stuff that he's doing. I'm very proud. As far as YES, so you're right. We were YEO, Young Entrepreneurs Organization, and what happened was I got a cease and desist letter. Stop using YEO. I was like, what? So that's a good thing, by the way. See, this is marketing, Adrian. I was like, oh wow. So young entrepreneurs, there's a young entrepreneurs organization. What I did was I was young entrepreneurs, but I ebonics the entrepreneurs, right? I put a Z on it
Be on it,
and
yeah.
I added a logo to it. But the Young Entrepreneurs Organization that sent us the cease and desist letter also teach youth entrepreneurship. So we are now Young Entrepreneurs Solutions Organization, YS, okay? And so, I started this program in Newark in 2014. Now we're in 12 cities across the U.S. and the Virgin Islands, teaching youth, 6th through 12th graders, entrepreneurship and economic development. Now what's happened is we've gone beyond that. We did the Coventry House in Newark, which is 20-plus-year-old homeless people. We taught them entrepreneurship. It's now it was a summer program, and now it's turning into a year-round situation. We were going to implement our national program this year, where we take the winning teams from around the country and bring them to the Virgin Islands and have them compete for the YES National Championship. And we were going to give out YES awards to adults that are supporting youth entrepreneurship. So like executives from corporations. So our lineup this year was C-level executive from Comerica Bank, CEO, founder of allhiphop.com. We got an Atlanta Hawk. We got a battle rapper. We have professor from Rochester Institute of Technology, things like the Akbar Cook from Westside High School. So this was going to take our program to a whole nother level, right? Which was, so now we're looking to postpone that probably because of this pandemic. So I'm very proud of the growth that YES has experienced, and um, yeah, and then my Instagram is Ruff50, RUFF50, at Ruff50 is my Instagram. I don't use Twitter much. That's why I didn't know you was banned, Eric, because I know you usually have some quotes, and I usually go read you entertain the hell out of me on your Twitter, and I usually go read your stuff, but I don't get on Twitter that much, but my Twitter is at Ruff, and that's RUFFFF, the number 2. So it's at Ruff, 4 F's and the number 2 is my Twitter. Then Facebook is just Ernest Ruffin Jr. So that's how you find me, AG.
Absolutely.
Right.
And you guys sound like you guys have some powerful movements. Hopefully, we can get you guys connected in some type of way with the NBA. That would be awesome, especially what you're doing with the temperature checks over there. And Ruff, you with your player programs are absolutely phenomenal. And with them, with the need that they have at this particular time to put some things in place.
Well, let me
For us.
add something else, Adrian, real quick. I'm sorry. So we have proposals on the table right now with um, 2 sports agencies to provide entrepreneurship training to their players. No other sports agency is doing that, right? So the pandemic slowed it up, but that's on the table. We actually have a proposal into the Atlanta Hawks to provide entrepreneurship training to their players. So let's see and that wasn't from me.
Absolutely.
That was from the player from the Hawks' uncle, who's working with us. He actually pushed it to him. So, and then Eric's got programs that he could talk about that he's doing with NBA Cares and stuff like that. So we already, making efforts to make it happen with the league.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah,
What are you
he's
doing,
right
Eric,
on it.
with
And when
NBA
two
Cares?
people, yeah,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
when two
yeah,
people come in
yeah.
agreement, yeah, when two people come in agreement, there he is in the midst. So we just gonna finish up on that, and hope for the best with everything. And like I said, once again, you guys, thanks for coming to the show, and
Oh no, anytime.
kid,
All love, baby.
everybody will
We
be,
love you, man. Come on, anytime. We love you.
and to the kids out there and all the people out there, I just say, don't get frustrated by the wait. Use this time to grow so you'll be prepared when the doors do reopen, because
Absolutely.
troubled times don't last always. And so if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. We're gonna leave on that one.
Boom.
Uh, Sammy Sosa,
Boom.
fellas. I'll talk to you off the cuff.
All
See you.
love. Peace.
Much love.